typically in Texas, especially with these ash junipers that everybody hates, you'll see burn piles, so that pile's almost certainly going to be burned. And what does this guy need on the same property? He needs organic matter. This is my neighbor. He's great, but he hasn't quite figured out that, you know, he's losing his soil. What little he has is actually washing downstream. Here's a fence. You know, he's washing it downstream. He's losing rocks and debris right up against the fence because he's letting it wash off. I actually took some of this, you know, soil, and I still have lots of bare spots on it, but I took it and I made a berm. So now when the water hits this, it slows, spreads, and sinks into my landscape. I planted wildflowers on the nasty caliche. This has not had any amendments to it. But eventually I'm going to come up here and spread mulch on top of this. So there's a berm here where those wildflowers are, there's a berm there, further down there's a berm. It's just a series, berm after berm after berm after berm, sort of like a washboard. Lots of speed bumps to slow, spread, and sink that water into the landscape. But I'm getting some stuff here that I just don't normally see in the hill country. We've got some yellow buckeyes, which are awesome. I love those. Another little pond I dug out just with the bobcat. Came in here and dug. My soil pretty much sucks, and on the bottom of this it still pretty much sucks. I am getting though lots of recruitment of really hardy wildflowers. There's a bunch of standing cypress in here. Not standing cypress, I'm sorry. Gay feather. Again, unamended caliche berm. Been there for several years, really not growing much yet. It kind of looks like crap. I'm not very pleased with it, but it is growing. It is adding organic matter slowly. I would like to come and top dress these with mulch. That makes a huge difference, especially if it's sort of amended mulch. That one has a little bit better soil, so this one overflows about where I'm standing, gets caught, pulled back into that next berm running all the way down, and then some water flowing from a neighbor's property I'm catching in this next berm. And this is really overkill. You don't need nearly this many berms, but this is sort of my property and I'm playing on it. I think that the work that Pete does is certainly better looking and cleaner. That's Pete Van Dyke with Drought Proof Texas. He makes them way prettier than this. But I'm doing a quick, dirty, fast, using the tools that I have available, and I'm not really trying to grow crops on it yet. I'm really just trying to keep the deer off, so that's why I leave a bunch of these branches down on the ground, and I'm creating pollinator habitat. In here there's tons of things that the pollinators go nuts for, so I'm trying to bring my ecosystem back to health before I invest time and energy and money planting things like fruit trees that are certainly going to do better if they're being planted into a healthier ecosystem. And this little spot just sort of catches water and debris and microdetritus, so here pretty much I'm on solid rock. That's pretty much straight caliche rock, but it brings in, and it filled up recently, because anytime you see microdetritus on top of a rock, that was floating on top of the water, and then as the water receded, little deposits were left on top of this rock. But what it brought me is basically forest debris. So all this forest debris is going to turn into wonderful soil right here instead of washing off. So prior to this little berm being here, that soil would all be going down into the local creek where it becomes, you know, it's useful, but I want it here on my property, and I want it to start building my soil here, and I can use that resource to grow plants, to grow pollinator habitat, and to recharge groundwaters and turn a flooding liability into a groundwater asset, and agricultural abundance and pollinator habitat. Thanks for watching.